In a world buzzing with life, there exists a small species vital to our planet's survival. Join us as we delve deep into the importance of bees and threats they're facing in today's climate. This is Beyond the Hive. Approaching winter here in the UK, and while we're all cozied up inside, so are our bees. But just because they're not buzzing around pollinating our flowers doesn't mean they're any less important. Bees. The small but mighty workers of our planet. Having a crucial role in pollinating our crops and maintaining the biodiversity of Earth. Honeybees are essential for the pollination of over 66% of the world's crop species and contribute to 1/3 of the food we eat. People who are particularly impacted by bees are our local beekeepers and honey companies. Daniel Pries started his company Radiance Honey at the start of his beekeeping journey in 2018 and has been growing his hive numbers ever since.
They generally have 2 honey crops in the year, spring and summer. When the bees bring in the nectar, they store it in the comb, and then when they'd reduce the water content overnight, they sort of vibrate their wings to reduce the moisture content, and then they put a capping of wax over it, and then that is when it's generally ready. So in spring, we take the honey crop off at the end of May, and in summer, end of July, beginning of August. And then it's a matter of removing the cappings from the comb and then spinning it out in a spinner.
Consuming local honey has a lot of benefits.
So I'll put my honey through a 400 micron filter, and that removes any residual wax or the odd bee leg or wing, but it retains the pollen. So where you see in the supermarket honey is sometimes quite crystal clear. Mine's not. It's got like a hazy appearance because it's got the pollen still in it, which is where the goodness comes from.
Due to these small amounts of local pollen inside the honey, it's popular among consumers as it helps alleviate seasonal hay fever.
It's like a vaccine almost. The bit of the local pollen helps with the hay fever.
Seeing as bees don't just make the honey he sells in his jars, but also produce the beeswax for his homemade candles, Dan is someone who definitely knows the importance of our buzzing little friends.
Bees are very important to humans. They pollinate our plants, which are food as well. And if they're not here, they don't pollinate, no food, no humans.
In fact, there's a quote usually attributed to Einstein that states, "If the bee disappeared off the face of the earth, man would only have 4 years left to live. No more bees, no more pollination, no more plants, no more animals, no more man." And although there's not much evidence he did say this, it seems plausible enough. As a significant amount of the human diet is reliant on bees, their absence would lead to national food shortages and a decline in crops. Luke is also a local beekeeper, with one of his apiaries in Maidstone. And although we're filming in a wet November, we've joined him to check up on a couple of his hives which he thinks will need a little help over the winter.
It's cold, they're getting ready for winter, so they're reducing the numbers, they're changing their behaviour, so they're not as active, and they're just clustering up into a small ball, around about the size of a small football, and trying to keep warm.
Recently though, climate change has brought rises in global temperatures, causing disruption to bees' nesting behaviours and altering normal seasonal timings.
We're obviously getting slightly different seasons, and the winter seasons seem to be milder and later. That does cause a problem with the bees. Having a milder winter means that they're more active, and if they're more active, then they're using more of their resources up. And last winter we had a bit of an issue where it was not really warm, and then we had a cold patch in January, and then it got warm again, and the bees got all excited, they got active, and then we had a really cold stint at the end of, I think it was February, March, and that's really late in the season for them, and a lot of colonies died. They just got caught out.
So what have beekeepers been doing to protect their hives over the winter?
Generally they're okay. The cold doesn't kill bees, damp does. So as long as the hive's secure and weatherproof, they're fine. I mean, they'll survive in temperatures, you know, really cold, sort of icy, and that they'll cluster and keep the warmth in the hive.
During the summer, prolonged periods of rain, so this year it pretty much rained all the way through July. So all the resources, all the nectar, all the honey that they made during the springtime, they pretty much used then through July, and that only left them really August and September to get ready for the winter again. Yeah. So from a beekeeper's perspective, you know, that's a little bit of a problem, because we like to take their honey, but we like to take it when they've got an excess amount.
Recently, climate change isn't the biggest threat to our bees. This year there's been an increase in the sightings of Asian hornets in the southeast of England. The first Asian hornet to have found their way into Europe was in France in 2004, where it's thought they were accidentally transported in cargo from Asia. And since then, they've spread throughout France, Spain and continental Europe, and are slowly making their way across to England as well. In 2020, one nest was found. 2 were found in 2021, and the same in 2022. But so far, in 2023, there's been 76 confirmed sightings, a massive increase from previous years. So why are Asian hornets dangerous, and how can we help spot them? We spoke with Sonia Belsey, a member of the Asian Hornet Action Team in Kent, to find out more.
In terms of human danger, they're not any more dangerous than any of the insects we have here. However, they're of huge danger to our bees. They eat, and they're predators of honeybees and all pollinators. And also with things like nests, they are extremely protective of their nests and can become extremely aggressive. So we'd advise people not to approach suspected nests.
How can people tell the difference between Asian hornets and the local European hornets and wasps?
So an Asian hornet is much darker in colour. It's a little bit smaller than our native European hornet. They're very dark, and they have a yellow band on their abdomen. They also have bright yellow legs, which is very unusual for insects in this country. So they look like they're wearing bright yellow socks, and they have a yellow orangey face.
Luckily, Asian hornets have not affected Daniel, Luke or Sonia's hives, but they have heard of sightings within a kilometre of their apiaries.
Not personally, I'm very fortunate that I've not had Asian hornets visit my apiaries that I know of. I've set up bait stations and I've set up traps, and I've been observing both, and I've fortunately not seen anything this season so far.
Sonia brought with her an Asian hornet trap, with its cleverly calculated size allowing other insects like bees and wasps to escape while keeping Asian hornets trapped. You put fermented honey in the pot inside the trap, which the hornets will be attracted to, but not bees. These are available to buy online for £23, as well as a guide on how to use it found on online websites. What should someone do if they think they've seen or trapped an Asian hornet?
So we say see it, snap it, app it. So if you see one, try and take a picture of them safely. And there is an app called the Asian Hornet Watch app that you can download and report any sightings.
So what can us at home do to create bee-friendly gardens? Actually, it's a lot easier than people think. Getting a wide range of flowers, ideally wildflowers and plants that bloom at different times of the year, will really help.
It only takes 1 or 2 plants or a pot, if you've only got a patio, to make sure that there is enough plants out there. So things like ivy, borage, crocuses, making sure there's something all the way through the year for them to eat as well. And taking part in things like No Mow May. So it gives you an excuse not to mow the lawn, but it also helps all our pollinators as well.
As we conclude our journey into the life of bees, it's clear that without our tiny little creatures, us as humans would suffer tremendously. But each and every one of us can contribute to their conservation. By fostering bee-friendly environments, reporting sightings of invasive species nests and buying honey from your local producers, we can ensure a thriving future for bees and humans.